Okay, so today we're dive into a topic that's incredibly important right now.
Yeah.
The Haitian community here in the U.S., especially given, everything that's happening in Queens and
Yeah.
Trump's second inauguration just right around the corner.
Right.
There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncertainty. And we're going to try to unpack all of that, what this means for Haitian immigrants, both documented, undocumented, all of it.
Yeah.
So we've got a ton of sources here, interviews, news articles, reports.
A lot to dig into.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Paints a pretty vivid picture of what's going on. But I think what's really interesting is how this is playing out at the local level.
Oh, absolutely.
So we've got Queens Borough President Donovan Richards Jr.
Yeah.
And he's really taking a strong stance on protecting Haitian immigrants in his borough. And I think his efforts are kind of a fascinating case study for us to look at.
It is. And I think it's, the efforts that he's making, I think, are very interesting because it's very multi-pronged. It's not just about, one thing. He's going about this in many different ways, focusing on resources, creating that sense of security, doing everything from providing legal aid to know your rights training to community centers.
Wow.
He even managed to secure, I believe, over $6 million in capital investments to build these dedicated centers for immigrants.
$6 million.
$6 million. Yeah.
That's a serious commitment.
Right. It's not just talk. Right.
Right.
It's actually putting resources behind this. And he's really emphasizing, making people feel safe and supported, especially those that are undocumented. And I think that's so crucial right now in this climate of fear and uncertainty.
It sounds like he has a personal connection to this as well, right?
Yes. His own father became a U.S. citizen in 2020 under the Trump administration, no less, right? Yeah. So, he understands these anxieties and challenges faced by these communities firsthand. This isn't something that's, abstract or far off. It's very personal to him.
That makes his efforts even more powerful, I think.
Right.
Knowing that it comes from that personal experience. But I'm curious about the scale of this. How many Haitian immigrants are we actually talking about here in Queens?
So Richards Jr. estimates that there's roughly 20,000 to 30,000 Haitian immigrants living in Queens.
Wow.
The majority of them are concentrated in Cambria Heights. And he even mentioned that, his son's doctor and after-school programs both located there.
Oh, wow.
So it's a community that he's very familiar with.
It's not just, an abstract issue for him.
Not at all.
It's his neighborhood.
Yeah, it's literally his backyard. And we can't forget about the new arrivals, too.
Oh, right.
He cited over 50,000 new arrivals in Queens alone. And, a lot of these people are actually living in hotels. So it's hard to say exactly how many are undocumented Haitians, but the number is pretty significant.
Yeah, those are some pretty big numbers.
For sure.
So we've got, Richard Jr. taking these proactive steps, right, in Queens.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't really talk about the anxieties within the Haitian community here without also talking about this situation in Haiti itself.
Right. Absolutely. There was a UN report that was released, and they used the term absolute horrors. That's pretty powerful language.
It is.
Yeah, to describe what's happening there.
What are some of the key takeaways from that report?
The statistics are pretty alarming. Over 5,600 people were killed in 2024 alone due to gang violence. That's over 1,000 more deaths than 2023.
Oh, my gosh.
And the report goes into detail about this horrific massacre that happened in Cité Soleil back in December of 2024, where over 200 people were killed.
It's terrifying.
It's incredibly disturbing. And a lot of the victims were older people who were targeted for alleged voodoo practices.
It's heartbreaking. It sounds like the violence is escalating, and it's escalating rapidly.
It is, and the level of impunity is just staggering. The report documented hundreds of lynchings, summary executions. It's just a complete breakdown of law and order.
Given the scale of the violence and the instability, it makes the issue of temporary protected status, TPS, even more critical.
Oh, absolutely. TPS has been a lifeline for so many Haitians, allowing them to live and work here legally without the constant threat of deportation. But, here's the thing. TPS for Haitians is set to expire in February 2026.
So what happens then?
Well, that's the big question.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fear and anxiety around that. Community leaders are urging President Biden to extend TPS through 2028, arguing that sending people back to Haiti right now would be disastrous given the conditions on the ground. They need more time.
Do we have any stories from the Haitian community about like what this actually means for individuals? Like how are people feeling this?
Yeah, there's this one story that really stood out to me. This guy named Christel Guichette. He's a TPS holder living in South Florida. His youngest child was born here in the U.S. His wife also has TPS, but his own application is still pending.
Oh, wow.
So he's living with this constant fear, right, of being separated from his family, deported back to this incredibly dangerous environment. And, there was a quote from Marlene Bastion. She's a Miami-Dade County commissioner. She said, "Extend TPS for Haiti until 2028 to give Haiti a chance to recover."
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking situation. So we have this ticking clock with TPS, right?
Right.
And then we have the added layer of the incoming Trump administration.
Right. It's a lot to process.
Yeah. How is New York City preparing for potential policy shifts that might impact immigrant communities?
Well, Mayor Eric Adams has been taking steps, to reinforce New York's sanctuary city laws. This involves training city staff on those laws, providing legal guidance to agencies, making sure that city resources aren't being used to assist in federal immigration enforcement.
So it's about building a firewall between city policies and potential federal directives.
Exactly. And it's not just bureaucratic measures either. I mean, they're holding hundreds of Know Your Rights sessions across the city for immigrants in shelters, in schools, in houses of worship. They're really trying to, empower people with knowledge and alleviate some of that fear.
Knowledge is power, right?
Absolutely, especially in a situation like this.
Yeah. But even with those efforts, I imagine there must be a lot of apprehension about what a second Trump administration could mean for these communities.
Oh, there definitely is.
Yeah.
Especially given that Mayor Adams met with Tom Homan, who was Trump's border czar in the previous administration. And that sparked some controversy because people are worried that, it signals a willingness to compromise on these sanctuary protections.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. It really highlights the kind of delicate balancing act between local policies and potential federal overreach. It's going to be a challenging road ahead.
It is. But, one thing the city has been very firm about is that schools should remain safe spaces for all students, regardless of immigration status.
Yeah.
They've reiterated that immigration officials can't just enter schools without proper legal authorization.
That's crucial, especially for children who are already dealing with so much.
Right.
Having to deal with the stress of immigration. They need to feel safe. They need to feel supported in their learning environments.
Absolutely. And that's why this whole issue extends beyond just the legal and the political debates.
Right.
We're talking about the well-being of entire communities, their sense of belonging, their ability to build a future here.
This has been a lot to take in. It's clear that the Haitian community here in Queens is facing a lot of uncertainty right now.
Definitely. And it's a situation that I think deserves our attention, our understanding.
Absolutely.
For sure. It's fascinating when you kind of zoom out a bit, and think about this in the broader context of the Haitian diaspora in the U.S. We've been focusing on Queens, but their story is really kind of interwoven with this much larger narrative of immigration and resilience.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit then.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the Haitian diaspora nationwide? How big is it? Where are they concentrated?
Well, the Haitian community in the U.S. it's incredibly vibrant and it's widespread.
Yeah.
We see significant populations in Florida, New York, and other states. But Florida has a particularly long and rich history with Haitian immigrants.
What about their economic impact? There's this stereotype about immigrants taking jobs. What did the data actually tell us about the contributions of Haitian immigrants?
Well, the data actually paints a very different picture.
Okay.
Despite all the challenges they face, Haitian immigrants have made incredible contributions to the U.S. economy. They have a strong work ethic, a really remarkable entrepreneurial spirit, and you see that very clearly in places like Little Haiti in Miami.
Little Haiti is such a cool example.
Right.
It's this thriving cultural hub. And a testament to the hard work and determination of Haitian immigrants.
Sure.
But I'm curious, what are some of the factors that have contributed to their success, despite facing those challenges?
Well, one factor is their strong sense of community.
Okay.
Haitians have this long history of supporting one another, both in Haiti and in the diaspora. They've created these really strong networks of mutual aid, businesses, cultural organizations that help them navigate the challenges of, building a life in a new country.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's about leveraging those community connections to create opportunity.
Exactly. And it's not just about survival either. It's about thriving.
Mm-hmm.
The data shows that the median Haitian household income is it's comparable to the national average.
Wow.
They're not just working jobs, they're building businesses, buying homes, investing in their communities.
That's really impressive, especially considering, many Haitian immigrants also face this significant language barrier, right?
Oh, absolutely.
A large percentage of them primarily speak Creole, and they're still learning English.
Yeah, and that just speaks to their perseverance and adaptability.
Right.
They're overcoming obstacles and they're really creating these opportunities for themselves and their children.
So we've talked about the economic contributions, but what about their cultural impact? I mean, how have Haitian immigrants shaped American culture?
Haitian culture is so rich and diverse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely left its mark on American society, from music and art to food and fashion. You see Haitian influences everywhere, even if people don't always realize it.
I'm thinking about the music scene in Miami, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk about Miami music without acknowledging the influence of Haitian compa and zouk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just Miami either,
Yeah.
Haitian influences are present in everything from hip-hop to fashion to visual arts all across the country. They've brought this unique flavor and energy to American culture.
It's fascinating to see how they've managed to retain their culture and their traditions while also integrating into American society.
Right.
It's a real testament to their strength and their identity.
It really is.
Yeah.
And, it's a reminder that diversity is a strength, not a weakness. The Haitian community, like so many other immigrant communities, they bring so much to the table, culturally, economically, and socially.
But even with all their contributions, the Haitian diaspora still faces those significant challenges, especially with the looming expiration of TPS and the uncertainty surrounding the new Trump administration.
For sure.
So how do we reconcile those anxieties with the resilience and the success that we've been talking about?
Well, I think it's important to remember that resilience doesn't mean the absence of hardship. It means finding ways to persevere and even thrive in the face of those hardships.
Right.
And I think that's what we're seeing. Haitian immigrants are facing immense challenges, but they're also finding ways to support each other, to build businesses, to create this really vibrant cultural life.
It's about acknowledging the complexities of their experience,
Exactly.
the struggles alongside the triumphs.
For sure.
Yeah.
And, it's a reminder that immigration is this multifaceted issue with no easy answers.
Right.
It's not just about economics or politics. It's about people's lives, their hopes, their dreams, their struggles.
And we can't lose sight of those human stories amidst all the policy debates and the political rhetoric.
Absolutely. Those stories are really what makes this issue so compelling. And they should be what guide our actions and our policies.
So where do we go from here? What are some of the key takeaways from this deep dive into the Haitian community in the U.S.?
Well, one takeaway is the importance of, really understanding the nuances of immigration. It's not a monolithic experience, and different communities are going to face unique challenges and unique opportunities.
Right. And it's not just about the numbers. It's about the individual lives behind those numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another takeaway is the power of community. The Haitian community has really shown us, I think, how important it is to have those support networks.
Yeah.
Those shared resources, a strong sense of collective identity.
And those networks are even more crucial in times of crisis.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
When people are facing increased vulnerability, increased uncertainty, having that community support is essential.
Yeah, and finally, I think it's important to remember that immigration is not just a them issue.
Right.
It's an us issue.
It is.
It's about who we are as a nation, what values we uphold, and how we treat those who are seeking refuge and opportunity.
That's such a powerful message.
Yeah.
And, it seems like a good place to maybe pause for now.
Yeah, I think so.
We've covered a lot of ground. I'm sure our listener has a lot to think about. So join us for part 3, where we'll kind of delve a little bit deeper into that political landscape and explore some potential solutions, for a more just and equitable future for Haitian immigrants.
We've talked a lot about the challenges, but I'm curious about the role of advocacy and activism here.
Yeah.
What are some of the strategies that are being used to actually fight for the rights of Haitian immigrants?
Well, it's happening on multiple fronts, which is interesting, both within the Haitian community itself and from allies outside the community.
Okay, let's break that down a little bit. What are some examples of those efforts?
Well, so within the Haitian community itself, you see a lot of grassroots organizing, legal advocacy, cultural awareness campaigns. You know, organizations like Haitian Lawyers Association, the Haitian American Nurses Association, they're providing really crucial legal and social services,
right,
while also raising awareness about the issues. And then you also see these Haitian-led community groups, you know, mobilizing protests, voter registration drives, educational workshops.
Yeah.
They're working to make their voices heard in the political arena and educate others about the realities of the Haitian experience.
That political engagement is so crucial, especially given the current political climate.
Absolutely.
But what about allies outside the Haitian community? How are they contributing?
Well, you see a lot of interfaith organizations, immigrant rights groups, human rights advocates, all working in solidarity with the Haitian community. You know, they're providing legal aid, organizing rallies, lobbying policymakers to extend TPS and just create more humane immigration policies in general.
It sounds like there's a real sense of coalition building there.
Yeah.
Recognizing that the fight for immigrant rights is a shared struggle.
It is, and that's where the power lies, you know? When you have these diverse groups coming together and amplifying each other's voices, it creates a much stronger force for change.
It's about building bridges and finding common ground, even in a political landscape that often feels very divided.
Exactly, and it's also about shifting the narrative around immigration. You know, instead of focusing on fear and division, these advocacy efforts are really highlighting the contributions of immigrants.
Right.
The richness of their cultures, the shared humanity that connects us all.
It's about humanizing the issue.
Yeah.
Moving beyond just these abstract policy debates and reminding people that we're talking about real lives, real families, real dreams.
Absolutely. And I think that's what ultimately drives effective advocacy, is that ability to connect with people on an emotional level and inspire them to act.
So what does this all mean for the future of the Asian community in the U.S.?
That's the million-dollar question, right? I mean, it's hard to predict the future with any certainty,
right,
especially in such a volatile political climate.
Of course.
But I think there are a few possible trajectories, you know, a few possible scenarios that might unfold.
Okay, let's walk through those.
Okay.
What's the most optimistic scenario?
Well, in the most optimistic scenario, you know, the Biden administration extends TPS for Haitians.
Okay.
Provides them with that much needed stability and protection. And at the same time, those grassroots advocacy efforts continue to gain momentum.
Right.
And it leads to broader policy changes that create a more humane and inclusive immigration system.
That would be a huge win, not just for the Haitian community, but for immigrant rights advocates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What about a less optimistic, maybe a more middle ground scenario?
So in that scenario, maybe TPS is extended, but only for a limited time.
Okay.
Which leaves them in a continued state of uncertainty.
Right.
Or maybe some positive policy changes are made, but they fall short of really addressing the systemic issues that drive so much of the hardship faced by immigrants.
So it's kind of a mixed bag, with some progress, but a lot of work left to do.
Exactly.
And what about the least optimistic scenario?
Well, in the least optimistic scenario, TPS expires,
right,
and the new Trump administration implements these harsh immigration policies that lead to increased deportations, family separations.
Yeah.
And that would have a devastating impact on the Haitian community.
Right.
And really send a chilling message to immigrant communities across the country.
It's a sobering thought.
It is.
And a reminder of the stakes involved.
Yeah. And it underscores the importance of continued advocacy, awareness raising, political engagement.
Right.
We can't just sit back and hope for the best.
Right.
We have to actively fight for the future that we want to see.
This deep dive has been incredibly informative.
Good.
But I also feel I feel this sense of urgency now.
Yeah,
It's clear that the Haitian community is at a crossroads.
they are.
And the choices that we make in the coming months and years are going to have a profound impact on their lives.
They will, and I think that's the key takeaway for our listener.
Yeah.
We all have a role to play in shaping the future of immigration in this country, whether it's educating ourselves about the issues, supporting organizations that are doing good work,
Right.
or speaking out against injustice. We can all make a difference.
You've given us a lot to think about, and I really appreciate your insights.
Oh, of course, happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to our listener, thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
We encourage you to stay engaged, stay informed, and stay hopeful.
Absolutely.
The fight for justice is an ongoing journey, and it's one that we have to undertake together.
We do.